People of the internet, how you doing? I am Native King Guy, and on this show I cover a film twice. Well, not on this show, I'll be covering it on another show. For some reason I did the same film twice with two different people, because why not? On this version of the show I'll be joined by actor, creative and Jedi Philip Bedwell as we discuss all things evil, physical media and a whole bunch of other stuff, as well as the film. The Total Cult Zone presents Bad Man.
Can I help you?
I'm Sergeant Bobby Gaines with the Tennessee Special Narcotics Task Force.
This is my squad, as you can see.
Your murder investigation is now under Bobby Gaines' bust. This is my American Express. Never leave home without it.
Amen.
Hell yeah. Vehicle's Dixie Mafia. They've been taking over the drug trade in small towns.
Our town, our rules. Plenty of room on Main Street for more dead city boys.
I've got a lead. Now we're talking. We grab Jasper, question him. Hear that sound? I think your balls just dropped. I can help you. Witness protection.
Always wanted to do it with my hand.
No.
The Memphis boys are doing a deal to start moving their stuff all over.
This is about distribution.
They tried to haggle and Travis was killed to make a point.
There's still more to this. This is still my investigation. We do it by the book. We don't have the same book. This dog downer guy has a large-scale drug operation here. They say that dog is a real animal. Let's go rattle his cage.
Yes! You having trouble breathing?
No, I'm okay.
I got a feeling you ain't a cop. Out of line.
I have no line.
What kind of state cop is he?
That's you.
This guy, he ain't right.
There are no good men.
I'm trying to avoid saying it's been a while because every time I say that I get that bloody Stain song got stuck in my head. Yeah, you've not been on the movie review show yet. I say movie review with massive bunny ears because it's usually just people come on the show and talk about a film with no expertise or knowledge about the film world. But you've been in what have you done on that front lately? Been in films yourself?
What have I done? Oh, so I did a film called Chokehold, which was I played a big stretch of the imagination here, just being a recently retired wrestler, and I was a absentee father who was still trying to hold on to his wrestling dream and neglecting his family. That's interesting. That should be coming out in the next month or so, and I'm currently prepping to get rid of this lovely mullet because I'm going to be in Normandy filming a film called Harvey, where I play the title character who is in the Second World War and has been wounded and maybe fatally and is reflecting on his life. So that's going to be an interesting one as well. But yeah, aside from that, a few bits and pieces which I can't disclose, where you'll see me in the background doing a facial reaction or standing near somebody going, ooh, like that.
Yeah, you were officially canon as a Jedi Knight now as well.
I am. I think that's got to be my biggest flex going at the moment, Dean. I love it. Yeah, I was at a stag do recently, my best friend Paul's stag do, and we ended up in Forbidden Planet, and I was made aware. I knew I'm in a version of me is in a comic book, but there was also a banned book about the Acolyte, and my foot's in that. I'm not in it. My foot's in it, which is a bit disappointing, but I'm in the Acolyte, God damn it, and I'll ride that till the wheels fall off. I'm one of the original High Republic Jedi, so yeah.
Nice. You gonna get any fan fiction written about you?
I hope so, sooner or later. This is not the droid you're looking for.
Like the Boba Fett of the Acolyte. Yeah,
I think I'd take the Acolyte.
actually does segue nicely into something you brought up in our conversation when I said about coming on to talk about this film.
Right.
It's called Bad Man, and you said about what makes a bad man, or what makes people hate people
Mm.
and makes them bad guys, and obviously Darth Vader in Star Wars. Got a few nephews and younger people I know actually really like Darth Vader, like
Mm.
really like him, and I know he's got like a bigger backstory now. There's a lot of story behind him, but for me, it's like 2.5 films, the original film series. He was like the ultimate evil, the big space bastard,
Mm.
Darth Vader. So, yeah, what appeals to what makes him appeal to people?
I
I
wish
guess what your thing was.
I wish he'd be known as a space bastard now. That's almost more exciting than Darth Vader as a name.
Space bastard.
Space bastard.
Like Matt
Vader's
Berry's
an
a Jedi.
interesting one. I mean, I think his styling's essentially looking like a samurai. Lucas obviously had a big sort of in the kendo helmet, matches sort of Vader's helmet and stuff as well. His breathing, the voice, James Earl Jones. There's lots of. I just think in evil a lot of time, or not even. It's a strong dominant presence that draws the eye. And I think people get excited by that. People like to be the villain. But also as well, there's a certain agency that a villain has to do the things that maybe people wish they could, or exploring a darker side of themselves in a safe way. But I think Vader especially, sometimes villains are just written cool. I've always said when I was wrestling, it was always easier. You can get someone to hate you in 5 seconds, but to get someone to love you takes a whole match, or even longer than that. Luke Skywalker had to almost start wearing black and become dark and more nuanced himself. Whereas to get Darth Vader going, it doesn't take very long. Just the initial introduction of him with the correct music and stuff as well. It's very easy, maybe something to do with evolution, to twig that something is wrong or something is, you should be scared of that. So it becomes a lot more memorable and a lot more affecting very quickly.
Yeah, I think he's quite obviously like the bad guy in those films. He's just scary, comes out like that. But then you have the other characters who are more nuanced.
Mm.
And you said about so you got Walter White for Breaking Bad, Anthony Sopranos, Falling Down, Michael Douglas.
Oof,
I
that's
can't
a
remember his
film,
name
yeah.
now. But yeah, they're like the nuanced bad, where it's a normal person slowly building up to it. So why do we hate bad people? What makes them bad?
There's actually, I was thinking about this, and when you said that, there's an interesting sort of juxtaposition now. Whereas Tony Soprano, Walter White, they're introduced. There's a bit of it. Walter White was almost completely good guy again. He just had the disease, but had cancer. But then they're introduced. Tony Soprano's hey, a bit of a wise guy. But then as those shows go on, they become more and more monstrous until everyone has a stepping off point. Michael Douglas as well in that character in Falling Down. They get a point where you can't justify their actions anymore, even if they can to themselves as a viewer. There's a point going, well, no, they're just purely evil now, or it's just that they're too selfish. We've given them chances as an audience, but they've never redeemed themselves. Whereas Darth Vader is interested in the fact that you couldn't see his face at first, so you haven't got that recollection. There's no humanity in him. But as the films went on, spoilers, if you've not seen Empire Strikes Back, I don't know what to tell you. But we're revealing that it's Luke Skywalker's dad. And then as they've gone on further, and eventually the last thing to humanize Vader is to remove the helmet, and you finally see his face. So you have that emotional, sympathetic link. So some characters' journeys go one way and some characters' journey go the other. Do you humanize the monster, or do you demonize the villain? Or demonize the hero even?
Mm. The other thing you mentioned about like moral compasses and bad guys and villains do the things you can't. That's why we enjoy watching them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much so, particularly in the film Bad Guy as well. There were some really interesting points in that. But I guess for me, when I watch a film, particularly when I used to watch a lot of horror film and stuff as well, someone like Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th, those films, like Halloween's a trickier one because Michael Myers is quite disturbing, particularly in the first one, and there's no real humanity in it at all. No, everyone's just scared of him. But like Jason Voorhees towards the end, Freddy Krueger becomes more or less just a pop icon, just doing silly kills, and it's just quite funny. You identify with them because they're just doing crazy stuff in almost a cartoon way. All right, it looks that people are getting killed, but they're in such over the top slapstick ways. You tend just to enjoy it after a while.
Yeah, with the horror stuff, I'm always a bit wary of people who like enjoy Freddy Krueger kills, and like the remake of it. Some guy was online saying he didn't like it because they made him a child molester.
Yeah, like it was sort of rumored in the first Friday the 13th, Robert Englund, but they wrote that out quite quickly.
Yeah, but he was like a child killer during it, and they're still, I can cheer him.
Yeah, you got to be. Yeah, it's got to be. The thing is, after we went past Dream Warriors and stuff like that, particularly into the last few, it was just, and unfortunately this is a problem with a lot of horrors when they go up in the numbers. They just, like even with Hellraiser and stuff like that, what made Pinhead, or the Hell Priest by his proper name, or their proper name I should say, they're genderless, so scary, is that you didn't really get their motivations too much, and they didn't just become a cipher where people could just watch murders. Really, they're a lot more. I think things are always scarier, and villains are always a lot more terrifying when you don't over-explain them. I think the motives become a lot, because something I've learned from my acting is that, or one of the skills I use, is a villain. No one really wakes up in the morning thinking I'm going to do horrible barbaric stuff today. They're always going to be justified in their actions, I think. And the more you try and explain away their justifications, like you say with Freddy Krueger, sometimes that can get a little bit morally dubious. And it's like, well, wait a minute, why are you explaining it so much? Aren't we just meant to dislike what they're doing here, or are we getting those shades of grey? It depends on the film and the text used, really.
I think I did think about earlier was being the bad guy is, like you said, it's easier to be the bad guy in the professional wrestling thing because it's obviously cheat. People don't like the cheating. Being a babyface, good guy, a lot harder to get people to like you. Is doing bad things more like going through life with a cheat mode activated. Because without rules, you're just on easy mode. You can do whatever you want and please yourself. Hate is easier than loving everybody because you have to accept everyone's differences if you want to love everybody and get everyone to love you. But hate is like, yeah, I just hate you, and you do what you want. Because the whole thing of a friend has a podcast, it's Tyrants in Training, and the whole thing is you get put in charge of an island and you get like 10 million people there, and he throws things at you along the way. It's a comedy podcast, improvisation. And it's funny the way he does it, but eventually everyone ends up as the tyrant and just doing away with the people they don't like because it's easier to deal with it. And you're essentially, you're doing a cheat on it. It's like, I'm just going to get rid of these people. This is easier. And who knows better than just me being in charge of everything. But then you become the bad guy, and people who align with you don't like the fact that you've just done that to those people. So you become the bad guy to them, even though you're trying to help them.
Yeah. Any idea of being, are you a director or are you a dictator? It's all about like sort of leadership styles and stuff as well. Are you offering people choice still, or are you just becoming, this is my way? And like say, are you ruling by punishment? I would say it's interesting from a sense when, if I play a bad guy when I'm acting, I did go on a run, I guess it's something to do with my face, where I ended up getting whole in a row of abusive partners and abusive fathers and really nasty pieces of work. But of course, when you're playing those characters, you even if I don't agree with the choices that are made in this with the character, what they're doing, you have to find that justification. You have to understand their point of view. And it does take from me. I think sometimes when you watch stuff on screen, like you say, with once again going back to the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, it's like, how self-aware of you of what's actually going on? Can you watch it as pure entertainment, or are you truly identifying with maybe the suffering these villains are causing? It's let's not forget, in the first Star Wars film, Vader blows up a planet and kills how many billion people? But shit, he wears black and he's got a red lightsaber and he's pretty cool, you know. And he can crush people's throats with his finger force. So there are those issues. There are those moral quandaries. Can you identify? Is there something cooler about the character, or is there something that you like can live vicariously through that you can then override the acts they're committing? And yeah,
Let's talk about a film that stars Stifler.
Oh, Sean William Scott, what an interesting guy he is. I love him. I love him as an actor. He got, this is the thing, you know, he got that Stifler role, and I see him every now and again. In this film as well was no different, where he really is playing against type, so to speak. But he's obviously a really gifted actor. But it's really hard for anyone to see him not doing this. Like, I don't think he does I don't think he smiles once in the whole film. So you're waiting for the Stifler face that never comes. Not in this one, that never comes.
Yep, Bad Man stars Sean William Scott from American Pie and The Goon. And I will mention The Goon because it's an amazing film.
Banger.
Going against type, yeah. Rob Riggle from 21 Jump Street, Johnny Simmons from The Perks of Being a Wallflower, Lovi Poe from Chelsea Cowboy, and Andre Hyland from Barry, and marks the final film of the late Chance Perdomo. Yeah, died last year after a motorcycle accident.
Terrible.
Yeah, Bad Man is a debut feature from director Michael Diliberti, who he also co-wrote with J.J. Nelson. It is the story of a small town of Colt Lake, Tennessee. There's a big meth problem apparently. When murder strikes, Deputy Sam Evans is assigned the case. A former local sports star, Evans has fallen from grace in the eyes of the community. He still holds dearly. No one takes him seriously or thinks he can get the job done. Then hotshot Bobby Gaines arrive. An undercover agent with the state's special narcotics task force. He is immediately welcomed like a hero. Evans is forced to work the case with the new top dog in town. But as they dig deeper, all may not be what it seems with this strange new saviour. It's a synopsis. Inspired by true events, in the same way Texas did really have a chainsaw massacre. So I do look into these things quite a bit. It's like, oh, that didn't happen.
I did. As soon as it said it's inspired by a true story, I thought, okay, I'll put a pin in that. And once I finished watching the end of it, I was like, how true? It's like the old Fargo thing, isn't it? This happened, and you're like, you actually go into it like, sort of. A bank robbery happened once, and that's what the Fargo is based on.
A few too many films saying that based on a true story recently. I'm like, oh, really did it?
It's the hook, yeah.
Yeah, there's one like serial killer, and it's like, okay, it was kind of, sort of, not really. There was a serial killer at one point. This film had a serial killer
that had a name, and this man had a name, and
yeah, but this. There's some words in that synopsis going to give it away. Where it's where was it? Set for UK digital release from 15th September, so it's out already. And the words that stick out for me is straight to DVD, straight to video release, digital release. It's just a straight to DVD film, isn't it? Really.
And good for that, and very refreshing for that. One of my biggest overriding things was that it's done and dusted, just over the 90 minutes, which is super refreshing. I still love to go to the cinema as much as possible, but one of my biggest misses now, I remember that I used to love, or one of the things I missed the most, I should say, was back in the day in my teens, early 20s, was going to HMV, or was it Our Price or Virgin or whatever, and buying a CD album and then going to World Cinema section and just buying a DVD. The only thing I could watch all weekend, and whether I liked it or didn't watch it or didn't like it, I was going to watch it all the way through because that was my that was my buy. And thank you for giving me a screener of this, because when I watched it, it was a nice sort of nostalgic trip back to that, where it's just a film where I didn't really know anything about it. I had no expectations. It didn't need a big sort of hook to it or superhero. It was just a competent film, well told, a little bit of action, a little bit of comedy, a little bit of drama, romance, and just nicely turned out. I hate to use it was nice or it was pleasant with art, but it wasn't super affecting, but it was memorable and it was enjoyable. And sometimes that's all you want from a film,
Yeah, it was fun 90 minutes. Wasn't offensive. Seen some terrible films recently. This was nice, enjoyable. I think it had an issue of they do that modern thing of putting actors in a room and letting them riff, and they were doing the riffing bit back and forth, and they were going to get the best take from it. And I don't think they got the best take from a few situations, because the cast is competent enough. They're like not the big names of comedy, but they're competent enough for the situation. The team itself is kind of got a dynamic. Okay, they got the stoner guy, the young guy. They kind of mess around a lot. So there's a dynamic there, but it doesn't feel like they quite got it. And a lot of the takes were, well, that'll do.
I got an impression that it was quite schizophrenic, like you say, quite schizophrenically edited, and almost sometimes, like I say, Sean William Scott was trying very hard not to be Stifler, and I really got that, and I think he succeeded. But it's almost felt like two films meshing together at some point. It's like Ethan Suplee, is that as one of the major villains in it?
Knows how to pronounce his name.
Oh, is it? I can always mispronounce his name. Ethan Slurpee, in my Cockney accent, seemed to be almost in a different film. He was really affecting because of it. But there were sort of very big tonal shifts at some point. Like Rob Riggle was doing his usual comedy aspect thing, and like you say, and almost like there was an edit from one cut that probably people found funny at the time, but then you have to move the story along. So there was this sort of weird, schizophrenic editing style of 1 minute is very serious and there's real weight to what the characters are doing, a real a meaning or a motivation exposed, and then the next minute we're laughing again. It was like, but like I say, a lot more to recommend it than to detract from it. And a very almost an anti-buddy movie as well, which I quite liked about it.
Yeah, it's got the buddy cop sort of basic level to it, but I did like the fact that it's this idyllic small town image you get, and then you find out there's this sleazy underbelly, or people are a bit dodgy, like the racist guy, the guy who's masturbating in his car. It's stuff like that. I would like to have seen more of that. And I have mentioned, like, it would have been a good TV series, like just 6 episodes. And they build up to the fact that it is this perfect town. They could have started off with this amazing, perfect little town. And then every show they find someone who's done something really bad. That's really dodgy. And they build up and build up and build up to the big finale, which is the big spoiler at the end of this film, which is the reveal of the bad man. Like I say, most of the film you go with Ethan Suplee being the bad man, because he's really effective with how he looks now and how he acts, because he has been in mostly comedy stuff, but he did do
Remember the Titans?
Edward Norton. The Edward Norton film, the Nazi one.
Oh God, American History X.
Yeah, he's in that as well.
Oh yeah, it's because of the weight loss sometimes, or the muscular gain. Like it really changed his face. So I almost see it as two separate people. I have a lot of time remembering his back catalogue, but I mean,
just more rats for me every time.
But yeah, the seedy underbelly, like always, I want to remember that. And you talk about villains, very memorable villains who have got no redeeming qualities whatsoever. Dennis Hopper in Blue Velvet, which is talking about the ultimate like reveal of a seedy underbelly of a perfect town. But I don't always find that a failing in a film when you think, oh, they could have made a mini series about this. We were talking about Queen of the Ring earlier on before we came on, and I think sometimes if a film is strong enough that you could think, oh, they could have made a story about these two characters or this character as well. It's good. It means that there's an emotional richness to the text where, oh, I'm being pretentious, where where you can actually think to yourself, oh, like there's enough thought that's gone into the script that these characters lived and breathed before the camera started rolling. And then when the film naturally comes to an end, these characters could go on and have their own lives. And I think that really succeeded when there's a certain ending for two of the main characters that I thought, oh, really, I can see that they're going to make it in a way. And I'm trying not to spoil it. I was very happy about that because I was like, well, yeah, that felt like a fully fleshed out and fully formed relationship where I can see a history and also see a future.
It is one of those where you go, that's going to get a sequel. Or maybe it was a bigger hit. So I can't see it being a massive hit. They have kind of buried this film, which is kind of sad.
It's a real
it's
shame.
an actor's last film.
I just think there's such a glut of content now, and I hate that term, and I don't use the word hate very much. But just whenever I meet with any of my friends now, even when we talk as well, mate, like a lot of the time it's like, have you seen this? Have you seen that? Have you checked out this miniseries? Have you listened to this podcast? Have you seen this thing on YouTube? Have you seen these reels on Instagram? And attention spans dropping, and so this paralysis of content where so much is available to all of us now, and it is really hard unless it gets that viral moment for anything to really gain traction, or if it's got enough of a celebrity behind it or an IP that it will get that level of play. I just think there's a much bigger conversation now in terms of cinema and how maybe a smaller film would get a bit of a play and get a cult underground following, but then it would go to DVD and then would pick up more traction, and people would find the little films that could. But let's not forget one of my favorite films of all time, Fight Club, were absolutely bombed at the cinema and would have got absolutely lost. But because there was less content about back then, it found its audience on DVD and then eventually has become this classic. But something like Bad Man, would it be a classic? Is it in the vein of Fight Club? Probably not, but it definitely deserves to be seen by more people than it probably will be, because it just gets lost in this, like I say, this constant level of streaming now.
I don't think it'll get to the level of Lagoon, which
Loved it.
was a big hit, but everyone I know who's seen it is like, yeah, it's a really good film.
But the thing is, with Sean William Scott in that, if we just switch both those films, a similar sort of anti-hero or an underdog in maybe more so in The Goon, but is it the script writing? Is it more quotable? Or is it the fact that it's got more of a comedy bias? Maybe the comedy scenes were fleshed out a little bit better? Or is it simply because The Goon came out when there was still a DVD market? I think that probably has a lot to say for it.
Yeah, because it's got like a minor cult following, not like a massive one, but there's enough people who like it that it got a sequel.
Yes. I've yet to see that, actually. Is it any good?
It's not great. It's not the worst thing ever, but it's a bit of a letdown.
I just think the funny thing for me as well, what we're talking about here, and I don't mind the terms, it's not great, it's not bad. Because for me, I like that when you might buy not the best, going back to old technology, you might not buy the best CD, but there were a couple of good tracks on it, and you would learn to love some of the other stuff. Or if there's a lot of filler on it, maybe there's one or two hooks that you really enjoyed, and you'd buy a film from HMV. Like I bought a load of like Tartan Video, all the old Japanese stuff, and some of that wasn't great, but there were one or two scenes that I've still found very affecting that have sat with me. Renting out films from Blockbuster Video or whatever, and like you've watched it and it wasn't but at least you just got to sit and appreciate it. And it wouldn't be the best, but maybe you'd follow one of the actors a little bit more or stuff like that. But I get a little bit scared now that it just feels like I don't know where the dropping off point is with vertical cinema and stuff as well, where audiences get bound again and attention spans get longer again, and movies and entertainment can be entertaining again and find an audience.
There's a recent thing of K-pop Demon Hunters taking off and being this big hit, and instantly they went, yeah, I'm going to make 2 sequels, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to make a big franchise of it. It's like, could you put money into something else, maybe try something different rather than just milking this one thing to death? And straight away.
I completely agree with that. And that's sort of almost what's happening now. As soon as something becomes viral, we'll just strip mine it, get as much of it, rather than, it wasn't the fact that I've not seen that either, but it probably wasn't the fact that it was just because it was something new in a sea of expectation and average. And like you say, and the other thing that I always push about quite a lot now as well, like so many reboots, so many remakes of stuff that's proven and made a lot of money, which, okay, I get the thought behind that. It's a safe bet. But why don't they try remaking something that wasn't bad, but maybe technology's improved, or maybe give a script that maybe wasn't fully done right the first time, or an adaptation, give it a truer run, and give it another go. But then we're going to talk about The Crow, and I'm going to get very upset.
Have you seen the new Crow then?
Sorry?
Have you seen the new Crow then? Was it good?
Yeah. I admired I thought the violence caught the graphic novel better than the stylings of the 90s one did, but that's the only thing I can level against it. If they had just made it a Crow film, but they changed it in the edit, I saw that he wasn't called Eric Draven anymore, but when an actual actor actually died playing that role, think about it, please. And it was again, do you know what, Dean? It's like Badman. It's not bad. There are bits in it that I think if it had been released on DVD, the new Crow would have done okay. It's like the new Hellraiser. I really like that. It wasn't bad, but how do you find an audience when things are just churning over this quickly? How can, like, you know, Vader now, the way Vader is being put in everything, how do you, the reason that Vader was so affecting was when the original Star Wars released. I mean, what was, we're talking a gap of years in between Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. So the legend of his myth gets a chance to grow. These films have to, this entertainment, this art has to sit there for a while, and people have to be able to discuss and debate, and it has to percolate. I think when things, and it's the next villain, and it's the next villain, and it's the next horror thing. It's like, where do you get the chance for it to get its myth and its legend if you're always moving on to the next thing?
Yeah, this is what I'm kind of like in the move back to physical media, people buying CDs and buying films, and it may bring some appreciation to these films that like get lost in the shuffle. The sad thing about these films like the Bad Man and a few of the films I've reviewed recently, they're like really good films, but they're not going to get physical releases.
I think a big one as well for me as well was we talk about Breaking Bad, and that only really hit its peak. You need the water cooler moment. You need the time. People binge it. And I think you need the time to give it an episode, sit, think about it, discuss it with other people, then you're on to the next one. But I think Breaking Bad did really well because it got a massive download during COVID. So a lot of people got a chance to really sit and watch it, and that's what built its audience. People suddenly were on the journey. I think
the weekly release thing as well, isn't it? Where TV moments rather than binge watching. Like they put a series on Netflix and it's all on there, and people are watching it at like 1.5 speed.
Yeah,
to watch it before everyone else. I don't have enough time. I'm just been like first series of Sopranos. 25 years old now. It's like I'm just getting to the Sopranos.
It's like The Wire. But I mean, I got the DVD box set because I like to physically own stuff. I love to own physical media. I just simply think when I buy stuff, I like to be able to lend it to somebody. I also like to just have it so I can sit there and clutch it. But yeah, just The Wire, taking the time to sit, and just enjoy it, let it affect me. The binging thing was good at first. I mean, Christ, I had all of The Wire, so I could have sat there and probably watched it all in one go if I wanted. But sometimes you just want to step away. Sometimes you just want to let it. I just think some of the most beautiful things that I get with art, cinema, whatever, is when I leave a film feeling confused, but then I'll feel for a few days, I'll be thinking about certain scenes and they just stick with me. And the time of leaving the cinema, I wouldn't be able to tell you, or watching the DVD, I wouldn't be able to tell you whether I truly enjoyed it or not. But then I realized after enough of days of it not being able to leave my brain that it's obviously done something very important to me. And I just don't, I just think, do we get a chance to do that now? Because so much is coming at us all the time before we're on to the next thing. Almost this 1.5 speed thing, which destroys me. I don't really want to do that. But you need to say you've seen it to be in with the in crowd. So it's more just the point of saying you've watched it as opposed to you've enjoyed it or had time to actually sit with it and debate it with yourself and actually assimilate it, as opposed to just like, okay, oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's the social media thing where people are watching films and posting along with it, like live watch alongs. I'm watching Sinners and it's amazing. People no one talk really about Sinner, how good it was. It's like, if it's a good film, watch it. Stop posting online. Actually watch it, because they're posting about things at like half an hour into the film. It's like, just watch the film, enjoy it, then post afterwards how much you enjoyed it.
And if you're confused,
watching it.
and if you're confused, it's a good thing sometimes. It's God, what one did I see recently? Oh no, it's going to do me now. Not The Life of Chuck. I'm trying to think of the film I watched the other day, and I adored it. It'll probably come back to me. The Life of Chuck was really good as well, but I'm quite big on films that don't explain everything. I like. Oh, that was it. Got it. Weapons. I loved that because it didn't have to explain the villain, and that villain was super scary because just everything in their presence and what they and their appearance, but there are so many parts of that film where you could just see with something that was left on the mantelpiece or the way a character behaved when another character entered the room. And I just walked away from that. I was like, oh, that explains that. And this is why I think that person did that. Lynch, I always come back to Lynch, that Lynch was very good at just putting stuff on the screen because he felt that it was something he saw in a dream and it needed to be there. And you didn't know, like something like a Razorhead or whatever, you can watch a Lynchian film and you don't know why it's there, but it affects you in some way. That there's something pure about the art. And I think Weapons was a very, very good feeling for that there were so many parts of that the kids running like aeroplanes. I don't know why that weirded me out so much, but it was just good and it needed to be there. And I'm glad that it seems to me weirdly that horror is something that's the only thing that's really getting traction at the moment, that maybe because I have the virality of these weird occurrences and then they build an audience. I don't know.
Well, that was bad, man.
Oh God, sorry. tangents. Anyway, back.
Overall, I've got it down as a decent film. It's a good pizza movie.
Yes,
Pizza, a couple of beers with some mates, even though I don't have mates or can't drink beer anymore. Or I have proper pizza. It'd been great. It's one of those movies. Group of guys round, watch the film, watch a bit of it, laugh at it, have a chat. You're not going to miss too much in terms of story. Perfect one of those films.
The shootout at the end, oh, spoilers, was refreshingly violent, and there was a weight to the violence, which I enjoy. I can't stand it. Choo choo. Oh, I've been shot in the arm, but I'm absolutely fine. And I thought that had a certain grittiness about it. I really enjoyed. The love story between Sam Evans and I'm forgetting Lovi Poe's name in it, but I liked it. It was I thought those were the scenes for me some of the nicest scenes in it. I thought his scenes with her and his Johnny Simmons scenes with Sean William Scott worked really, really well for me. They seem to have the levels right there, and the interplays worked well. When it went out to almost like an Anchorman style comedy with just people just throwing out ad-libs out there at some points, it was good. It was good for an individual scene, but that's where it lost me a little bit. But I thought the drive and the narrative, and then the big twist in the tale, wild card, bitches, I really enjoyed it. And I loved, and I can't talk about it because it would ruin the film, but I loved the ending scene and the ending shot. I thought that was really, really well done.
Cool. Bad Man is set for UK digital release on the 15th of September, which was yesterday.
I would say give it a chance. That would be my last thing I could say about it. I don't believe in reviews. I think if you want to watch something, watch it. But I do think it's one of those things of, like you say, if you are of the drinking persuasion, have a tin. If you're not, I don't know, have a cup of coffee or something, and just give it a go, because I thank you. But I don't think I would have watched it if you hadn't given it to me. And at the end of it, I was like, I'm really glad I spent the time watching that, because it made me nostalgic for going and just buying a DVD or going to Blockbuster Video and just renting something. And just because I knew one of the actors, I'd give it a go.
Nice. So where can we find you online?
Where can you find me online? Oh, I'm hiding from online. No, I think the best one. So the social media thing now, and needing to be seen to be an actor but not being seen as a personality. It's a whole other story. But yes, Instagram, Philip Bedwell, Philip Bedwell. That's the one to get me on. I don't refresh it very much, but when I do, it's when something important's happening. So yeah, that's the one I'd say reach me on. Or you can go onto my website at philipbedwell.com. Again, PhilipBedwell. Thank you.
Nice. And as always, you can find me at totalcultzone.com. Go there, read the zine, check out all the stuff on there. All the stuff I talk about on don't talk about on the podcast. All the videos and stuff, and my social media is on there, whichever one I'm on, when I'm allowed on.
Shadow ban.
He's getting slim pickings these days. Very slim. Blue Sky, censorship free. Yay! Oh no, you can't post boobs anymore.
You villain.
Got post grot. Damn. But yeah, totalcultzone.com. Go there, read the thing. And hopefully you'll be back on at some point to talk about maybe some German expressionism.
Oh, mein Gott.